Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
Liberty Counsel to defend a Virginia schools law display that contains the Ten Commandments. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action, in for Matt Staver today, and joining me in studio is Shawn Akers, Liberty Counsel's Vice President of Middle Eastern Affairs. Shawn, the ACLU is at it again. A more appropriately named organization I've never heard of, the American Civil Liberties Union. Well, they stand for everything except our inalienable rights, our First Amendment guaranteed civil liberties. The ACLU of Virginia has filed a lawsuit against the Giles County, Virginia School Board after Narrows High School posted a display on law with 10 equal-size frames, one of which includes the Ten Commandments. The Foundations of American Law and Government display, as it's called, includes, among other documents, the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence, and the Mayflower Compact. And the display also includes a document which explains the display. And Liberty Counsel has agreed to represent the school board against this attack from the usual suspects at the American Civil Liberties Union. Shawn, federal courts have upheld on multiple occasions that such displays, at least two different federal courts of appeal, are perfectly permissible. The purpose of the display is historical and educational. It is not to proselytize or push any particular religious agenda, and there is no doubt when you, from a historical standpoint, when you read the writings of our founding fathers, that the Ten Commandments, Mosaic law, was the foundation upon which our legal system was built upon. There's just no denying that fact.
You know, Matt, you pointed out this has become, for many of our listeners, has become something that they're very accustomed to. It seems clear that the whole point of the American Center, the American Civil Liberties Union, is to craft a new nation based on some socialist and communist ideas. It has very little to do with civil liberties, especially not related to our Constitution. And what you see repeatedly here is not some desire to protect people from some establishment of some theocracy, but is quite literally a war against the Christian religion in the United States. If you so much as mention God, it raises the ire of the ACLU. And in this particular case, as you pointed out, Matt, our record against the ACLU on these establishment law cases, on these Ten Commandments cases, is very, very good. It's an excellent record because the law is on our side, liberty is on our side, the founders set it up that way, the Constitution is on our side, and no matter how much they want to recreate the United States in their image, the fact is it's not.
And that's what I've often said. The ACLU is about the business of trying to recreate an America in its own secular socialist or communist self-image. And I don't use that word communist lightly. That's, again, not a pejorative, not intended as an attack against the ACLU. The ACLU's founder, Roger Baldwin, said, quote, "Communism is the goal." He said this: "I am for socialism, disarmament, and ultimately for abolishing the state itself. I seek the social ownership of property, the abolition of the propertied class, and the sole control of those who produce wealth. Communism is the goal." This is the ACLU's founder, and the ACLU has not moved far from its roots. I wrote an article titled ACLU, Communism is the Goal. People can Google it and read it to find out more about the ACLU. But the ACLU was taken to task by the United States Congress. back several decades ago, essentially pointing out that the ACLU's main point seems to focus on defending those pushing communism. This was, back during the era when communism really posed a very heightened threat, was a clear and present danger. It still is to this day. But it should be no surprise what's a central piece to perpetuating a communist state. It's to remove the Judeo-Christian ethic, to focus the morality associated with Judeo-Christianity, particularly Christianity. So the ACLU, as you point out rightly, Shawn, it's not so much that they hate religion. It's that they hate the Christian religion in particular. They're going after the Judeo-Christian ethic in general as part of Roger Baldwin's original Communism is the Goal vision.
The trouble with the Judeo-Christian worldview, Matt, is that it leads people to be able to govern themselves. Alexis de Tocqueville pointed this out very well when he came to the United States to try to figure out what it was that made this new country so special in the constellation of nations on the globe. What made America so special? And he said, there are different sects of religion everywhere I go. There are religious disagreements, but everywhere I go, people seem to agree on what's right and what's wrong. That Judeo-Christian worldview that dictated right and wrong was common. This is why our founders told us that our Constitution was drafted for religious and moral people and is wholly inadequate for any other. 4 pages don't govern a people for 250 years unless those people are able to govern themselves. And we're about 235 years out, and sure enough, we have a people that are still together under that same 4-page Constitution because they were able to govern themselves. And, it's a frightening thing to think that those who would want government to have more power, they need, to some extent, to replace what Marx called the opiate of the masses, this reliance on God rather than reliance on government. And they react just viscerally to it in our school systems, in our churches, and in anything else. We see a continuing battle. It's coming to a head between, you talk about church and state. This is the state running over religion. It's really the state versus God more than church versus state.
Of course it is. And it's the state attempting to step in and supplant God, the state becoming God, the government becoming God. And, this display, this law display in Giles County, Virginia, the 10 Commandments is only 1/10 of the display, yet this shows the hostility of the ACLU toward religion, toward the Judeo-Christian tradition particularly. The ACLU focuses only on the 10 Commandments and says that this violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. And, Shawn, the good folks over at the American Civil Liberties Union seem to be completely lacking the irony gene here. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the most reversed liberal court in the land, they include the 10 Commandments in the court's official seal. You can see it on their website, on their official documents, and inside the Ninth Circuit in the very court building. So where the ACLU comes up with this nonsensical notion that somehow to point out the historical relevance of the 10 Commandments into our legal system, to say that this is a violation of the First Amendment's Establishment Clause, weigh that against the fact that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, again, so often highlights the 10 Commandments, it boggles the mind.
Well, Matt, it does, but it also betrays the drafters of this new idea. The problem with the leftist elite in the United States and its vanguard, the ACLU, is that they're too busy rewriting the Constitution to actually read it, and they're too busy rewriting American history to actually having read some of it. They need to pick up some books and see that the things that they're holding out, the founders of the United States would find absolutely ridiculous. They would be a laughingstock, if not worse.
Well, if folks over at the ACLU would like to actually learn something about the Constitution, I encourage them to come visit Liberty University School of Law. We actually teach from the Constitution what the Constitution actually says and dissuade people from trying to get in and revise both history and take this so-called living, breathing Constitution and bend it to try to achieve their own secular socialist ends. Liberty Counsel, we are proud to be defenders of the Constitution as our founding fathers intended the Constitution to be interpreted. To find out more about Liberty Counsel, go to lc.org or give us a call at 1-800-671-1776. Liberty Counsel is able to exist by support from good folks like you listening right now. Go to lc.org or call us 800-671-1776.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.